Welcome to The Executive Edge, the podcast where we dive into the minds of technology leaders shaping the future of business. I'm Ron Watkins and founder of LHW Partners, where we help organizations build high impact tech leadership teams. Today, I'm joined by Kunwar, CTO at a wealth management firm. Kunwar has led digital transformation, AI integration, and operational scale across highly regulated environments, from multi-million pound M&A integrations to cloud-first strategies that drive business value. In this episode, we explore how he's navigated complexity, led innovation, and what the future holds for tech in wealth management. So, firstly, Kunwar, can you tell us a bit more about your career to date and any defining moments that have helped shape your leadership?
Sure. Well, thank you. So my career spans nearly close to 2 decades in sort of technology leadership. The sort of last decade or so has been primarily focused on, sort of transforming digital and operational capabilities in sort of regulated firms, especially wealth management. I've always been very much involved with IT systems, user experience, and trying to make the user experience for clients even better as well. And that's only through deep-rooted technical sort of understanding that I've got as well. I think the biggest leadership sort of moment that came defining leadership moment was a Succession Wealth, where we successfully exited from private equity to Aviva PLC. So that was obviously at such a scalable time, at Succession, we went from, just over 1,000 users as well, 20,000 clients, close to 10 billion assets under management. And obviously that caught the eye of Aviva. And obviously that led to the whole acquisition and exit.
Amazing. And what would you say kind of your most valuable contribution to the organizations that you've led have been?
Sure. It's always been a an IT strategy saying how can IT rather than how can IT enable and impact the business throughout and
Mm.
what difference it can make. So right from an end user experience right up to the client, etc. Understanding what the pain points are, seeing how you could effectively introduce automation or, sort of get away, reduce the manual sort of admin tasks that are going on a day-to-day basis as well. And that ultimately drives up the sort of client advocacy as well, not only from an end user perspective, but also how you deliver sort of advice to clients as well. And it's always been about, where technology is moving. Are we at that stage that we can effectively mold ourselves and move with it, or should we be looking at other avenues as well and building our foundations a bit more as well? So it's always been a case of building the foundations to allow you to spring sort of forward further and further.
Amazing. And specifically, right, within the wealth management sector, what would you say are the unique challenges that being a CTO you faced?
There's so many at the moment. Wealth management, IT is or technology is seen as it's not the forefront of everyone's mind.
Mm.
You're operating on legacy sort of technology or tech stacks, if you like, as well. Client services and trust is always based on people, sort of one-to-one relationships. So trying to digitize that whole aspect is a challenge, not only for the advisors or the wealth management firms themselves, but also for the clients because they're used to that personal touch, visiting them, etc., sitting down, and to suddenly have a more of a digital, sort of a video call approach or more of a portal through which you can communicate through the client. That's probably the biggest challenge. But I'd also say there's so many regulatory obligations that we have to adhere with.
Mm.
There's so many sort of IT challenges that come about as well, which can't necessarily translate so quickly into the wealth management space, or everyone gets it as well. So technology is moving at a very fast pace, but within wealth management and financial services in general, it seems to be very much subdued as to the impact it can make.
I think exactly right. One of the key challenges, right, within financial services is balancing operational efficiency and
Hmm.
innovation, especially when there's quite heavy regulation. What would your advice be for someone to kind of strike that balance?
Um, there's two sides to the coin there, actually.
Yeah.
You have to keep the lights on and ensure that you as an IT function you're operating at your most optimal or the most efficient you can. But at the same time, whilst you're trying to drive innovation, you've got to be mindful that the industry is probably not going to move at pace at which you would do, or what
Mm.
technology would do. So it's more of a case of bringing in tech to support the enablement of the advice journey. It could be, or helping acquired firms come onto the group function, or whatever it could be, or there could be peripheries that you should be looking at. How to ensure that there's no downtime for users or for clients, or disaster recovery, etc. So these are some of the things that don't necessarily come to mind, but they're
Yeah.
some of the important areas.
No, that makes complete sense. And cybersecurity, the kind of regulation around that, is constantly evolving. How have you navigated that within wealth management and also in your kind of previous companies?
Sure, it's quite critical actually. It's become more and
Mm.
more prevalent as we go along. Cybersecurity, not only, especially COVID drove a lot of that as well with the remote working, etc. So there could be all sorts of security layers that you have to apply and whatnot, and cyber breaches, etc. And that's also something which is quite critical. So I think the FCA and the regulators are really, really on the heels of cybersecurity and ensuring that you're doing everything to protect the client as they are doing just generally in terms of advice. But it's more about assessments, just sort of making sure that the firm is fit for purpose, either during M&A activity, increasing the cybersecurity posture without, exposing any of the firms to regulatory risks as well. But also at the same time, understanding that the risks are not just within the business or the users; it could be, suppliers as well, or third or fourth parties as well. And risks don't just happen by sort of breaches or scams, etc. But it could be, what happens if a major supply goes down, or what happens if
Mm.
your CRM system stops working, etc. So I think it's grown arms and legs over time.
No, certainly that's an area that we're seeing actually quite a lot of demand in and
Mm.
questions around. So yeah, I guess it's always for IT leaders to stay aware and on point with that. Another growing field is AI.
Yeah,
And I know that you've led the integration of AI systems into your kind of current infrastructure. What were
that's
the
right.
key lessons from that?
I think the key lesson with AI is it's data. Everything sits on data and
Mm.
security. If you have good data going in, you have good AI output at the end of it as well. And I think a lot of firms out there are rushing to try and implement AI to try and get efficiencies or optimize operations or whatever it could be. But no one's taking the time to sit down and think, okay, the foundations need to be rock solid as well. And I think even before approaching AI, think about things like how can we increase automation, or how do we sort of optimize that, and then I think AI should come into the fold, and that's what I've been very, very cognizant of. So I understand AI is out there and you hear a lot of buzzwords of what it can do, what it can't do, and
Mm.
the time savings, etc. But it's more of a case of you know are you able to apply AI to your business, knowing that all your data is, you've got governance around it as well, etc. You've got your systems are reliable. So I think there's a lot of things you have to be aware of before doing so. But from my perspective, where we've been implementing some AI tools to sort of on the side to help advisors become more proficient, or increase operational efficiencies elsewhere as well. So rather than just going sort of jumping straight in.
I think that's a good point, right? Because we I hear people talk about AI quite a lot, but I think there's still a question mark on where the real value comes in for established IT teams. So where do you think, enterprise IT teams can incorporate AI and it be truly useful to them?
Yeah, I think AI is more of a tool which is going to complement technology teams,
Mm.
um, and free up capacity, if you like. So it's just going to improve like speed, the sort of accuracy and insight that you have for decision making, etc. So as a technology team, these are the tools which we're always wanting to have, because obviously technology teams are never that well invested into, or
Mm.
there's always a finite amount that you can. So as a result of it, having these tools out there to to improve sort of efficiencies or optimize is always something which is welcomed, etc. But in wealth management as well, this can have sort of implications such as better or more accelerated client onboarding, or fact finding it could be, etc., or better compliance accuracy. So there's different use cases for it, but AI will be able to be embedded or implemented in each and every business unit out there and definitely make a positive change.
No. And another question, right, which everyone, I think there's some are concerned about it, some are excited about it, is that AI is going to take everybody's job. I don't know what your thoughts are on that and how you think leaders, especially IT leaders, can prepare for this future.
Sure. I think first of all, AI is not going to replace jobs. It's going to
Mhm.
reshape, if anything. So freeing up capacity. Administrative and repetitive tasks, which can be automated, will be or should be
Mhm.
looking to be. So it allows the existing team to sort of acquire new skills, or put more of a human touch on the services that are given as well. AI will take care of all that sort of back office functions, if you like, etc., and roles will continually evolve. But at the end of the day, I think as AI becomes more and more prevalent, I think human touch will become more and more sort of yearned after effectively. And as a tech leader or tech leaders, effectively, is how to embrace that change, upskill the team, ensure that the AI strategy is linked with tangible business outcomes. Do you have the ethical frameworks behind it as well? And in my experience, I would say that the most successful AI adoption would come from being able to empower the teams, to sort of create solutions and sort of segues into areas or markets rather than just sort of tech being imposed on from the top.
No, that makes complete sense. And I guess speaking more about you now, Kunwan, looking forward, what sort of roles would interest you most?
Sure, thank you. I'm very much interested in sort of technology leadership roles.
Mm.
Organizations that are going through sort of transformations or consolidators or scaling or looking to penetrate into new markets where they need that sort of IT background, they don't understand how technology can help, etc. And I enjoy working at organizations or businesses where it's very much evolving from legacy systems into the sort of digital first model, if you like, as well. Whether we're doing M&A or platform consolidations,
Mm.
these are the areas that I enjoy doing as well. Fast-paced environments, working in places where you're coming out the dark ages, if you like, and effectively, able to implement that long-term vision and enable IT to sort of, sorry, make IT enabler so it effectively allows the business to grow even more and more.
Amazing. And for if people want to reach out to you, what's the best way for them to contact you?
Sure, they can contact me by email or telephone number or LinkedIn as well.
Okay, amazing. Well, what I'll do is I'll put your contact details in the show notes. Um, and yeah, thank you very much, Kunwar, for
Thank you.
speaking and giving me the time. If anyone's hiring for IT leaders, please do reach out to me and hopefully see you on the next episode.
And it's definitely not that AI agent is. So it might need a little bit of time for that AI agent to understand and to be trained to perform effectively, right? So that learning curve, the patience to have that learning curve is very important for businesses to get a successful adoption.